Well, good evening and welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. And I hope you're excited about being here as I'm pretending to be. And you can see us now at www.strongisland.com. You can see us on the Roku app, on the Strong Island Entertainment app. Or you can catch us on our website, which is www.thebbbradio.com. And we're on Facebook. We're all over the place.
You can see us peering in your sister's bedroom window. That's where you can.
What the hell?
That's where I'll
There
be
you
appearing
go.
next week.
And that's why he wears the sunglasses, so you don't recognize him.
Plausible deniability for anyone who knows me.
And that's all you got to do in this country. Just deny it.
That's right.
Anything you do wrong, just deny it. But anyway, speaking of deniers, we got Mike Grief.
Yeah, let me tell you, baby. Ooh, not bad, huh? Look at that. Look at that. Not bad for an old guy. Yeah.
Old guy my ass.
you missed your call.
Okay, I'm like the baby on this crew.
Yeah, I know.
You should have been a professional wrestler.
Oh, let me tell you, John. I've been hanging and banging. I've been saying my prayers, eating my vitamins. I'm ready, man. I'm taking down Madison Square Garden, all the griefomaniacs.
And speaking of maniacs, we have Craig Mitchell.
Okay, here's my impression of Isaac the bartender from Love Boat. Thank you so much.
That's the guy you need to be scared of, John.
What kind of random impression is that?
I know.
That's the beauty.
A guy with blue hair is doing this.
No, a couple of weeks ago we had Roger Cabler on, so I'm into it.
My impression of the old guy who used to sit down at the end of the bar and cheers.
Remember when Brian Reagan first started doing comedy, when he was like an audition act, he used to go, and now I'd like to do an impression of my next door neighbor. Hey, 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 get off my lawn. Sounds just like him. If you don't believe me, after the show, we'll go rap on his door. Oh, man.
So what are we doing today?
Well, I have a story that happened in Florida. No doubt.
Story?
Oh, you mean is it something crazy and wacky that happened in Florida?
Yeah, it's hard to believe. A semi-truck hit another semi-truck, and the entire highway was covered with Coors Light beers. And I think we have a picture, right?
We do. I have to find it though, but we do.
We can tell. So when you say the highway was covered with beer, that didn't last long. Trust me, they were getting out of their cars in Florida. And we were like, you could have a Brinks truck crash.
Oh,
look at that!
Wow! Party time. Oh man, I'm never in the right place at the right time.
Wow!
What I don't understand is why are they all crushed?
They must have hit each other in town. But what I don't understand, look, you don't see no liquid on the road. Them Floridians fucking came out with straws.
Look at the couple of our full boxes.
Oh man, what a waste, man! It's like
what they don't tell you is right behind it they hit a pretzel truck.
You know what this makes me feel like? This makes me feel like when you see those videos of like people on the beach pushing a whale back into the water. It's like sad. You want that whale to get back in the water. Look at this wasted beer. It's like
what kind of beer?
It's heart wrenching.
Coors Light.
Oh, so it's like if Smokey and the Bandit went wrong.
Yeah, I mean it's well, you can see right. The closer one says Coors Light.
Oh
yeah,
man.
the closer one. We don't. But you know, the other trucks could have different beers, and it could be just a real. No, actually, another Coors Light. I don't know.
How many trucks hit each other? That's what I can't figure out.
I see 1, 2, 3. It looks like 4.
Well, the one that's nosed into the ground looks like the one that the trailer is open and all the beer came out of.
Now, the funny thing is the trucks are facing this way, but the beer that they should be facing the other way if the cargo came out. I don't know. This might be a staged Florida picture.
No.
This actually looks like my backyard when I was 17 after my parents went on vacation.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Florida ain't can complain about immigrants because they're going to have immigrants come and sweep that up.
Holy crap.
You know?
I mean, that's a lot of beer.
That is.
Look at the two guys sitting on the fence to the right, just having a call one.
Yeah.
You see that?
They're like, oh, if only I had a doobie,
and there's the workman on the left telling you, get the hell out of here. Like,
yeah.
Man,
it's like trying to chase away the crows on like a dead animal.
One guy's going, this is the worst disaster I ever saw in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't have started drinking while they were driving. Maybe that was, man, that's like, how the hell did that happen?
I don't know.
You know what? Either the driver he fell asleep at the wheel, or he hit something. I mean, how does accidents happen? With trucks, you get some moron in front of you, brakes, you brake a little too hard, the truck jackknives, because I can't tell, but
You're
it looks
right.
like that.
You're right. Where's the liquid?
There is no liquid. So this, and then they wouldn't have left it on for long enough to dry up. Maybe this is a scam.
Well,
Maybe
look
these
at
were
the
empty
right.
beer cans.
Look at the right where those guys are sitting.
There's a pool.
There's a
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
man.
highway is arched, so
There's a river of beer. All right.
Down by the
man, if
river.
if that was chocolate bars, that would be the Hershey Highway.
Right. Okay.
Hey.
We really went far for a bad.
Hey, you know what? I
No,
tried.
Hershey.
I really did.
That's the
You
try.
last time.
The
that's
Hershey
the
Highway.
That's the last time we let you speak.
That's it. We were just talking. We were
first
just
and
talking about
last.
making. We were just talking about making a little more room for him to be heard. And now forget it. I was
A little bit
totally
more
wrong
room
with
for me to be
I was-
heard.
it. That's great,
That's
Craig.
it.
Anyway,
We're taking
John,
it- we're taking it back.
Sons of bitches.
Anybody else? Anybody
I
else?
can just mute you guys and have the show to myself. I could do that.
yeah, I'm sure that would garner a tremendous audience.
Well,
It would be him and
And now I'm going to air fry something.
and my puppet. Me and my
his
puppet.
puppet. All right. So, anybody else got any wacky stories?
Mike does, I think.
Yeah, I do. I don't remember what it is, but let's see what
Wow.
it was.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, what the hell was I'm
that?
not seeing the whole thing. I'm just seeing the guy with the lot. I don't even remember. I know I sent you
You sent me a picture, Mike.
that's all I sent.
You remember a picture about a guy who went out to get like stuff for his wife, and he
Oh,
decided to
that's
put
right.
it on-
Yeah. You know, it would help if I actually studied for the show, but I don't. Yes, this guy, his wife, and if you're married, or if you're not married, or you just have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever, nagging the shit out of him to go out and buy stuff. So, he goes out and he's getting stuff, and you know how we always do. Forget, I'll get a lottery ticket. So he bought a lot and he won the lottery, which goes to now that's a double-edged sword. So do I always listen to my wife and then
Was it $190,736?
That's
Yeah,
pretty
but-
good.
not bad for just going out for some milk?
That's after taxes.
Nebraska
No.
did better than that.
But what I was my father-in-law actually won about that many
But
years
now
ago.
he's got to find a bank to cash a really big check.
Yeah,
What movie was that? Did you see that?
it sounds
I don't
vaguely
know.
familiar.
Oh, it was about a basketball team that had no money, so they had a thing. You had to throw the ball from one end of the court to the other. And the guy goes, "This will be great. They'll never do this. It'll be $1 million." Guy throws the ball backwards. It goes right in. And they go, "We don't have $1 million." So they give him the big check like that. And so the whole
Try
movie,
cashing that.
he keeps coming back and he's going, "I can't cash a check anywhere." And they go, "You got to find a bank that cashes really big checks."
But here's the reason why this story interested me in the first place, though. So if you went out and you bought this lottery ticket on the sly and whatever, and you win, now would you tell your wife that that specifically that when she nagged you to go shopping, you bought that, or that you just bought it some other time, or would you not tell her at all?
Oh,
You got to tell her.
You got it.
Why? That's
Well,
like,
first of all-
that's a new
first
that's
of
a
all-
new Harley, that's
first of
a
all-
fifth wheel,
first-
that's a whole bunch of toys.
First of all, when that picture comes on the front page of the paper, you can't go, "Oh, they just asked me to hold the check."
I like his name, Preston Makey. Preston Makey plans to get divorced when he gets home. That's what that means.
No, of course.
He didn't
You
have
got-
time to write it all out.
You got to tell. I mean, I'd show up home with all of these new toys and everything, and my wife would be like, "Come on, where'd you get that stuff? Where'd you steal that?"
I'd be like, "Honey, I won $50,000. Here's your 25." That's what I would
Yeah.
do.
What an old joke, right? Yeah, honey, I pack your bags. I won the lottery. Pack your bags. She says, "Where are we going? We're not going anywhere. I'd just get
You're
the hell
getting-
out."
Well, you can't do that for 190. That's
Not
if
for
it was a
190,
million.
no. My father-in-law, though, he's a lucky guy. He won like 175 in the lottery once. He's won like 20, 30. Irish, the luck of the Irish. So anytime we used to
Irish
buy
mystics.
lottery tickets, we'd call him up and we'd be like, Brendan, bless us with your luck, and he'd be like, "Good luck, kid," whatever. But we never won.
Yeah, good joke.
Yeah.
Well, lanes merge.
Does that guy look a little
Significantly-
drunk though? He like maybe he it looks like he passed that Coors accident on the way to the.
Oh, actually, he didn't
He
pass
looks
it.
like the
He stopped
father.
after-
He looks like the father of your two buddies that are coming in.
He does look like our cousin in down south.
Yeah.
He does. He kind of looks like
Yeah.
our friends. Yep.
Well, where are they? They're in Michigan. This guy's in Michigan, so
Yeah, he's a Lions fan. So that's so he can buy for 190,000. He could buy the freaking team.
But
Speaking of football, how about my Jets' miraculous comeback once again?
How does that happen?
How does that happen? They're good.
Freaking Jets.
You know that
Freaking
somewhere near their stadium, there's a portal that goes to hell, and they've made a deal.
How about my Mets losing the division?
Oh, don't even talk about that, man. My father, Brendan, my father-in-law, is a huge Met fan, and so is Patty. We've been watching she's been watching it so she can have that bond with Dad watching the games together, and it's been a magnet. But it was so disappointing that they got swept those 3 frigging games.
Yeah, well, that's not when they lost it though. They
and
lost
Judd hit the home run last night to break the
freaking
record.
Judge. Freaking Judge.
Freaking
That's
Judge.
pretty amazing.
Oh, come on. He's he's shooting up. Come on. He's chiseled like a Greek
No, he's
god.
not.
Yeah,
No,
he's on the
Oh,
always
you mean
looked
oh
like
you
that.
say when you say shooting up, you mean steroids. When somebody says shooting up, I'm thinking heroin. So you're
Maybe.
talking steroids.
Hey, I don't mean to start rumors, but maybe, just maybe, I don't know. He looks kind of sleepy. Looks a little sleepy to me.
I don't know. I think I'm going to start doing the eugenics there. The big guy on the commercials. He recommends it. How about those things? Is that stupid or what?
Yeah, really.
Listen. I know we don't get political on the show. But
Uh-oh.
let's talk.
How do we go from testosterone
Because
to
you
political?
I don't know, John.
You're
We
talking-
said
no,
something
you're
that
talking-
set off John.
You're talking about sports. You're talking about stupid. You're talking about Herschel Walker.
What, wow, John, you took more curves than that tourist truck.
I'm sorry. I just saw an interview with him where he was talking about the reason why we have pollution is because we're manufacturing good air, but the bad air is coming from China and chasing the good air down, the bad air down on us.
Yeah.
Hold
on. Herschel, it's time for your another shot there.
All I can say is it's definitely a good advertisement for better helmets.
It's a wonderful time to be a moron. Let's just put it that way.
I wanted to see
stupid have risen.
I wanted to see his IQ test, but he can't spell IQ.
Yeah. Hey man, how do I get 911?
And his son is like all over Twitter saying his father's an idiot.
I'm sorry. Look, I can say this, but Christian Walker, just a little gay. Dad, what you doing? I mean, seriously, Dad, that's how he talks. I mean, is that how
maybe it's because he didn't have a male role model. That's
right.
Well,
maybe he's just totally hetero, but he didn't have a.
He had a lump of clay. Time, Herschel Walker.
Yeah, I know. Mama done told me to bring home a rabbit.
To bring home a football. I played for the Washington Generals.
We don't need no stinking helmets.
Well, it's funny because in Georgia he just may win.
No, I think Warnock's gonna knock him out of the park.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. I mean, I don't know. I question Georgia since they. Anyway, we're going somewhere we don't want to go.
I was just laughing because
Herschel Walker's not political. This is fine.
No, it's not. He's not even. He shouldn't even be in politics, so it's not political.
We could talk about Herschel Walker because anybody who supports him is stupid. Is too stupid to turn on the television to watch us. It's okay.
I was looking for that. The reason how this happened, I was looking for that video clip for the show, and I saw Herschel Walker, and it said some of the stupidest things ever said in the world by a politician, and I started watching it, and it was like I kept thinking to myself, as a comedian, if you wrote this skit, say for SNL,
right,
people would go, it's not funny. It's too unbelievable. It's too stupid to be real.
You know what he was doing just before this anyway? I mean, his regular job is a doorstop. You just stuff Herschel Walker in front of a door and it stays open. That's about what he's.
And he had to pass a background check.
I heard that he had a tutoring service for kids to help with their homework. When he couldn't make it, he'd send a bag of hammers.
Oh my God.
All right,
I don't want to say Herschel Walker is stupid, but he makes Sarah Palin look like she's in Mensa.
Yeah. This is how to beat your family and not leave a mark.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's get off of Herschel. Walker.
Okay, I have a story. John, I have a story.
That's more time than that guy needs.
Craig has. Hey, Craig,
What
when
is
did
your
you
I
get
have
here?
a
story,
story that John, you should have got this story. This is a true story. It's from Italy. This is from Italy.
So because he's from Italy, John should have got it, huh?
No, there's more than one reason. Italy is one. Here's the other. Two guys. I guess I don't know if it's the mayor. I think that I don't have, but the mayor of Venice is looking for two guys who were surfing. There you go, surfing down the canals of Venice, and he thought that he wanted to catch them and punish them because they were doing this because they outlawed any kind of surfing in the canals.
Let me tell you something.
They can't be surfing. There's no waves in the. They got to be being pulled by a boat.
It's a power board.
However, these guys are pretty brave to be surfing in sewage.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, that's what Venice is. It's sewage.
They're probably from New York, so they're used.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
it.
where do you think the toilets flush? They flush right into those canals. I mean, really,
it's like the Hudson River. They're fine.
You think you hit a fish? You didn't hit a fish.
They had a permission slip from Herschel Walker.
So these guys, they did catch them. They're from Australia.
Uh-huh.
They decided to go
because you're from Australia, nothing scares you. Because anything that flies, slithers, walks, crawls will kill you.
They'll walk.
Meanwhile, this guy in the front,
kangaroo.
this guy in the front's doing pretty good for only having one arm.
He only has one arm.
Well, you can only see one arm.
Yeah, he comes from Australia. Yeah, Mike, we got spiders this big down in Australia. We don't care.
I'll box a kangaroo.
Guess how much he got fined? Guess how much?
5,000 liras.
What?
No, 1,509 euros.
So what's a euro worth these days?
Same as a dollar. As a dollar right now. It's
euro
the lowest it's ever been.
Geez, wow. A euro used to be like 2.5 times a dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really went down.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Yeah.
I always wanted to buy a gyro with a
sell
euro.
my euros. Sell my euros.
I want to buy a gyro with a euro.
Not a gyro, a euro.
Gyro? Gyro?
No,
gyro?
We call them in New York, we call them gyros, but they're called euros.
We call them euros in New York.
Gyros is what I call
them. Not to be like a euro, which is a euro. It's a euro.
Guys, I know the Greek stuff. Okay.
Yeah, we know you
do. It's a euro.
Craig's the Greek general. I hate to leave my troops behind. All right, but
Anyway, I thought
this is fascinating to me. It really is.
John, we should like Photoshop you in there. We should, because it should be you.
I think I should start by giving him an arm.
I don't even know if people know that. I mean, you have the surfing background, but I wonder if people know John is an avid surfer. The man puts us all to shame. He's older than me and Craig, and yet he's more athletic. I mean, he just, I hate you. I really hate you.
My surfing has really slowed down a lot since I had my hip surgery, but I have a goal that I am going to start all over again.
But you have a bionic hip now. You can jump over houses. So that's kind of cool.
I know. It's just the other day when I went to go surfing and I went to stand up, I felt like I had some hamstring problem, but it'll get there.
Hey, have you ever seen a shark in the water when you were surfing?
Once my son and I were in Cocoa Beach, and there was an incline like this because the tide was weird. And as we were getting to go in the water, two sharks came rolling up on the beach about 5 feet, floundering around, and then went back in the water and took off. And I remember Sophie going, "You're not going in the water now, are you?" And my son and I "Yeah, they're gone now."
Was it tiger sharks?
No, wait, were those little like white?
No, they were like, they were pretty big sharks.
And you went back in the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a brave person.
Yeah, fuck it. Are you kidding, man? That water would have smelled like the canals of Venice if that was me.
Zabrowski wanted to stick his foot in the river. He thinks a bull shark is going to come up and grab him.
Yeah. No, bull sharks don't eat shit.
Bull shark.
Bull
shark.
Just kidding, Jeff. We love
Thank you. Yeah, we do.
Bull sharks. Yeah. He's definitely afraid of bull sharks.
Yeah, well, if you got a brain, you're afraid of a bull shark. There's the 3 top main predator sharks, and it's a bull shark, a tiger shark, and a great white shark. Those are the sharks that are going to eat your ass.
What about Mako?
Makos are the fastest thing in the ocean. They are the fastest bar none, but they don't usually generally go after humans. I don't.
Thresher sharks are the fastest.
And
No,
they
I
also,
think it's a Mako.
I don't
yeah,
know.
Mako's also good for your transmission, isn't it?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
We'll have Craig look it up. I think a
What's the
Mako shark
funniest
is
thing
the
Craig has
fastest
ever
thing in the.
said? Look,
That-
can you look that up?
That's the
That's the
funniest thing I ever said.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
And now I can't know if that,
Mako?
that's a that's the funny thing you've
Come on.
ever said.
In your life.
John hasn't seen me very often.
Who is faster?
A Mako or a Tresha? Hey.
Mako.
Now it sounds tough. I'm a treasure. I'm a treasure shark. Hey, I'll
Who's
treasure.
faster, Herschel Walker?
Oh yeah,
Herschel Walker sticking his finger in an electric socket, or a Mako shark?
Mako. Better get Mako.
Better get Mako.
Better run from Mako. No, but a Mako won't attack a human. I'm pretty sure they're smaller sharks. They're not, but they will catch the fastest fish in the ocean. Mako, right?
Makos are fast.
You are right.
Yeah. I'm not as dumb as I look. Nobody's as dumb as I look. Hey, up bad. Hey, up bad.
When I was out when I visited Beverly Hills in 1981, this guy took us to a Chinese restaurant and we had shark fin soup. I'm pretty sure that you can't have that anymore.
No, I'm pretty sure they outlawed that. I mean, because they were just killing sharks.
Guess how fast a Mako shark can swim.
I would say 20 knots.
And now, wait, you say 20 knots, but how fast is 20 knots?
How fast would you say miles per hour?
Miles per hour, I'm going to say 35.
65.
65 miles an hour.
Yes.
You know, that's like a bullet through the water.
That may be the funniest thing you've ever said.
Well, I keep topping myself.
You're close.
Hi, I'm Craig. I went to the Herschel Walker School of
60 miles an
65 miles an hour.
60 miles an hour.
60 is right.
I nailed it.
Wow.
I fucking nailed it. It's
That's
65
amazing.
with the current. What?
65 with the.
Yeah.
I like. See, it doesn't matter what you say, but say it with confidence, and people believe it.
65.
No, it's 65 with the current.
65 with the current.
65 downhill.
He gets himself into the jet stream, and there he goes.
There you go. The jet stream or the whatever, the El Nino stream.
Threshers are the sixth largest, but for their size, they're the fastest.
He's in the Sharknado.
But if you're going to be afraid of a shark attack, you got your three general ones that will attack humans. Like I said, you got your tiger shark, you got your bull shark, and you got your great white shark.
Well, did you see the woman on one of the cruise ships, the Norwegian ship, I believe, was in Nassau and went on a snorkel trip and got killed by a shark?
Oh, that's terrible.
Is it recently?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate hearing about that because then we all like to go tropical, beautiful places, and then you hear about that stuff. It makes you afraid to go in the water.
Yeah, but you don't go in the water.
My daughter and I were snorkeling. My daughter and I were snorkeling in Nassau.
Now John's loud.
Oh, I got to lean forward. My
daughter. What do you want? Hey, how you doing?
Oh,
my daughter and I went snorkeling in Nassau, and I had a GoPro camera, and I had this somewhere on film. And all of a sudden, she goes like this. She starts pointing, and then she just books out of there right past me, right? And I'm still looking. I'm looking. I think it's a turtle or something. And I don't see anything. And all of a sudden, she says that she was pointing because there's a tiger shark right over my shoulder.
Oh, so she left you like
she left me
she's like fucking dad's old. Who cares, man? I'm out of here. I got my
life. She goes, I'm looking this way, and she's going like this. She said it was right over my shoulder.
The password is inheritance.
No, he was photobombing you. That was a shark over my shoulder. You had the GoPro. He was just photobombing you.
He would have had to be on the other side of the lens. He was sneaking up on me.
Land shark.
Remember that land shark?
That brings us to our stories, I think.
It brings us to our cousins, doesn't it?
Our cousins from down south, yeah.
Yeah, making their debut on our show.
Did those guys, they did well, they didn't get hit by that hurricane, right?
No, they did not, no. Well, I think they got that other big one, yeah, but not this one.
It missed their trailer park completely.
Oh my God, they don't live in a trailer park?
No, actually, it hit the trailer park, but they had driven away before. They drove their house away before it happened.
Okay, now they can't watch the show.
No, stop it. They don't really live in a trailer park. They just look like it.
Oh, man.
That's the characters they play.
They don't really live in a trailer park. They live outside the trailer park in a tent. No,
you would think, John. You would think like this banjo music whenever these guys appear, right?
I know.
Is that what you think?
Without a doubt.
No,
Here
we're
they
just
are.
messing with them. They're not that
Here's
bad.
our cousins, Chris and Dustin.
Hey everybody, hope you're having a good Sunday. We're going on a African safari thing that we found that you drive through near our house. We done seen some giraffes and we've seen some couple of elephants.
Tiger, I think. Yeah, we saw a tiger.
Yeah, those in the cage. But we're looking for some rhinos. Whoa, hey, whoa, stop. There's a rhino right there.
Oh my
Whoa,
God.
stop, let me turn the thing around. Oh, stop. Look, he's looking at us. Wow.
Hey, little rhino. Hey, rhino.
No! Oh, bad rhino! God help us! God help, please! Baby Jesus!
I love it. Like, hey, little rhino. Well, I'll tell you, that must be a strong rhino to pick those two guys up. Those are beefy dudes.
Jesus.
Baby, that's another. Why do people down south call him Baby Jesus? Is Baby Jesus more powerful than regular Jesus? I mean,
Well,
you know,
I want to know how he. I want to get the phone he has. You know, the phone that could take a picture outside the car. How did that happen?
Well, he said, he goes, let me get that other shot. That's how he covered it.
Good.
oh
Hey, little
man,
rhino.
that little rhino. Hey, I think we saw a tiger. We saw
That's
some
Dustin.
rhino.
And he goes, I think we saw a tiger. He goes, yeah, but that was in the cage.
I had one of the
Oh,
funniest
man.
videos.
Those guys
ever.
are funny, man.
They
Those
are
guys-
hilarious. They are hilarious. They really are.
Our cousins from down south.
Our good cousins who don't live in a trailer.
No, they're working their way up to it.
Who
No way.
who will never
Come
appear on the
Hey,
show
you guys.
again. They're gonna not send us any more videos.
Come on,
please.
it's a
They have a great
character.
sense of humor. Look at what they
It's
do.
a character that they play.
But they
They live
Okay.
in their car.
They don't. Yeah, disclaimer: they do not live in a trailer park. They live
and they do
behind
not
it.
drive a striped car that looks like a zebra. They
No. Even they think Herschel Walker's stupid.
don't. Even they. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Funny
Me-
stuff.
Meanwhile,
Tell them
in
to keep it
Italy.
coming.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back in Italy.
So we have stories now. Who wants to go first?
Well,
We got
I don't care.
stories.
It
or
doesn't matter.
stories.
We got stories.
Stories. I'll go. I don't care. I can tell my story. You know, if I can hit. Well, this is. We'll explain what we're doing. We're doing stories about celebrities or just famous people that we've met or
Right.
that we've worked with, and so. This is years ago. I did there was a show called Suddenly Susan, Brooke Shields, and if you guys don't remember the show, it was who played her. Do you remember who played her boss?
Judd Nelson.
No, but it was Eric Idle.
Yeah, but Judd Nelson left, and then it became Eric Idle.
Well, okay, but I was in the finale. I did the final 2 episodes when they
Oh, nice.
ended the show, and it was a strange week because it was the show. It was sad because the show was ending, but also this guy, and he's a Long Island guy. This guy David Strickland had just he had killed during that season before. Him been hanging out with Andy Dick, which is a lethal thing to do. You don't want to hang out with Andy Dick. They were in Vegas. They were doing coke and the hookers and the whole whatever. And David Strickland had hung himself. He killed himself. So it was a very somber, weird week for the show. And so we're hanging out, and it was just like Brooke Shields we'd be rehearsing. She'd break out crying, and but for me now, I mean, you guys are Monty Python fans, right?
Sure.
I mean, we cannot be friends anymore if you guys aren't Monty Python fans. But The Holy Grail was the first movie I ever saw. First funny movie. I won't say that. First movie I ever saw was some weird thing called The 7-Ups. But the first comedy movie I ever saw was Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy.
Didn't that have monkeys in it? The 7-Up.
No, it was like a cop movie or something. I
okay.
don't know. But there you go, monkeys. But so I get on the set and I don't know. I at the time I didn't watch TV. I would go in for auditions. I'd book a job. I'd go and do the job. So I go in, and who's there but Eric Idle? I'm getting to hang out with Eric Idle. And I don't know if you want to show that or what are you going to do with the clip?
Let's show it right now. Here we go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a little number I tossed off recently in the Caribbean. Isn't it awfully nice to have a penis? Isn't it frightfully good to have a dong? It's swell to have a stiffy, it's divine to own a dick. From the tiniest little tadger to the world's biggest prick. So 3 cheers for your Willie or John Thomas. Hooray for your one-eyed trouser snake. Your piece of pork, your wife's best friend, your Percy or your cock. You can wrap it up in ribbons, you can slip it in your sock. But don't take it out in public or they will stick you in the dock. And you won't come back. Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, what a frightfully witty song.
Marvelous.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
And
he is so funny in everything he does.
Oh my God. And that's just it. And he was one of my comedy idols. I mean, this guy was like God. So I come on the set, and there's Eric Idle, and I'm like, oh my God, and he, he's like, hi, I'm Eric, and I'm looking, and I'm like, I love you, like just a real fucking boy. But anyway, they had just gotten a deal with Joe Boxer, the underwear company.
Sure.
So he was doing surveys and stuff. So he was like, wanted to find out what would be a great Monty Python saying to put on. So that's why I wanted to play that, because when he asked me for what I think would look good on, I said, wouldn't it be, isn't it great to have a penis? And just after I'm like ogling him and telling him I love him in a second, I'm like, hey, isn't it great to have a penis? But
how was his reaction? How was his reaction when you said you loved him?
He just kind of looked. It just kind of glossed over. I think that
I think they get that all the time.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, because I've met two. I met Cleese once. I met John Cleese, and that was a whole different thing. Sometimes you don't want to meet your legends, but anyway. But Eric Idle was amazing, and yeah, it didn't affect him. He didn't. I think John hit it on the head. These guys are such legends that I think they get that all the time, especially from comics. It's like meeting. Yeah. Whoever your comic god is.
I just see his face, and I just flash back on all the funny things in everything he's ever been in.
Well, and the other clip I was thinking about playing was when he's on the cross and he's like, always look on the bright side of life. Diddy. Doesn't get funnier than what these guys did. I mean, just so ridiculous, bizarre.
Or that clip I played for you guys, the four old Scotsmen.
Yeah,
when they're talking about how, you lived in a box, you were lucky to have a box.
Yeah,
but so funny.
See, and normally I don't get flustered because, like I said, I've gone on audition. You go in and you walk on to the thing, and it is what it is. You do a job, but I mean, like there was a couple times when I walked onto a set of a show that I was doing, and you just wow, your jaw just drops. It's just like I said, Eric Idle. And it happened a couple other times. You're just like, wow, this is so surreal.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't believe this is my life from where I came from, and here's what I'm doing. Yeah,
but sometimes, man, don't you find when you're in a situation like that, because you know what you go out of your way to act totally unaffected by it. Have you ever done that?
Oh, of course, you have to totally act like you're a professional. That you'll never work again if you I mean, exactly. So yes, you totally have to pretend like this is just you're standing next to De Niro. Not that I've ever worked with De Niro, but you say you're standing next to De Niro, but you have to act like he's just Joe Smith, and I'm just doing a scene with him.
Like when you were on NYPD Blue, if that was me, I would have got fired, because I would have been like crying and whimpering and going, I'm not worthy.
Yeah, and the same thing. I had to pretend like he's just his Dennis Franz. I'm working with Dennis, and he's just the nicest guy. I told you the cop in the scene kept missing his line. I mean, I'm talking about 20 times he missed his line. Finally, they stopped. I don't know if they were going to fire him or not, but Dennis Franz actually, when the cameras weren't rolling, put his arm around this guy, took him for a little walk, and just calmed him down. And the guy came back and he nailed it. And I was like, who does that? These guys, these celebrities, they don't give a shit about nobody. Fire the guy, get somebody new. But Franz was just the nicest guy.
Dan Roebuck, who was on our show last year and is currently in the Munsters, did a whole episode with Franz where they were in the interrogation room, and he had Franz, the character, at gunpoint the whole episode.
Wow.
And he
That's not the one when
a lot
Dennis
of-
Franz is tied down with his hands taped and they put a nail, they drove a nail through his hand.
No, that was it. Hill Street Blues. That was
Hill Street.
A lot of people don't know who Dennis Franz is by name, so you should explain that.
He's
What was that?
he's Sipowicz on NYPD.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people don't know him by that name.
I named my cat after him, Andy. I named my cat after Andy.
I have a
Sipowicz.
picture. I have a picture with him somewhere.
I don't.
So what do you got? What do you got, Craig?
I've got a great story. Bill Murray. That's actually from the 500th episode of Sound Night Live. That's where I got my SAG card. I got cast. I walked into Sound Night Live. I got a call because I send in postcards, and I go in and I'm standing right in front of that set, and two guys come over. I'm pretty sure, not sure, it was Robert Smigel and Conan O'Brien. And they
You
give me
didn't
a
recognize Conan?
yeah, he's tall, and I
It's
read,
like
I read
6'7".
I know. I read this thing that goes, sorry about the shirt, everything else in the wash. And they walk away, and then they go, we're going to take you to the green room now. I go, I'm waiting for my audition. He goes, oh, that was it. I'm like, what the what? I got a part in a sketch with Bill Murray called Cardini for the Defense, where he plays a lawyer who fancies himself a magician. And so
Who has a very famous magician, Cardini.
Yeah, he used to. So what he was doing was he was trying to prove me, I was a defendant, innocent by doing magic tricks, pulling flowers out of Phil Hartman's shirt.
And even Cardini couldn't prove you innocent.
No, well, ultimately they brought out a tank of water, and the tank broke the set. So they cut the scene from Saturday Night Live. But I still got paid. But the thing is, Bill Murray was so. I'm sitting there on set. We're rehearsing Saturday Night Live, and Bill Murray and we did the camera block with the stand. Kevin Nealon was a stand-in. I'm sitting next to Kevin Nealon, and we did the camera block. Then when we did the rehearsal, Bill came in, and we're sitting there, and he turns to me, and goes, "Have we worked together before?" I'm like, "No, it's my first time."
No,
He's like, "Come on, we worked together before." I'm like, "No." And so we're sitting there, we're waiting for something, and he
should have told him, "Yeah, I was on Ghostbusters."
I should have. I think I said the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but anyway. But he goes. All of a sudden he starts, and it's in his monologue. He went, "Here he comes, here comes," and he points at me. I went, "Speed Racer, he's a demon on me," and he went, "Yeah." And he was great. And then we went. Well, we didn't go live, but we did the dress rehearsal in front of an audience, and they do record it. That's how I got into SAG. And we get there, we run in, we sit down, and and he goes, and right before they go, he goes, "You nervous?" I went, "No." And he went, "Bullshit." But he was fantastic to me, and I never realized until I found that clip. It was the 500th episode of Saturday Night Live, and I got my SAG card because I fought for it. They
500th episode, which was only 495 too many.
Oh no!
No, it was great. It was great back then.
It's still great, guys.
No, it was.
No, it's not. No,
Yes,
it's not.
Sure, it is.
You cannot get. Let's take the fact that right now there's 24 people in the cast member.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
what was it originally?
Yes,
It was
there
about
is.
nine. What
There's
were nine?
9 people.
Originally,
There's
what was it?
20 now.
About nine?
I
Nine not
counted it
ready
the
for.
other night when it came on.
It's not
24
now.
people. Yes, there is.
No, you're wrong.
I don't doubt it. There's a shitload of them. How many were the original not ready for primetime players? It was either 7 or 9,
8,
right?
7 or 8.
Something like that. It was a very few, and that's all you need. You don't need
It's selective memory though, man. Because people, you don't remember back then. If you watch the whole episodes, they had, half the shit didn't work. Half the shit did. Some of it was legendary.
But
and
the reason why some of it didn't work because it was cutting edge. It was groundbreaking. There was nothing else like it.
I remember when Saturday Night Live first came on, being at parties, like at doctors' houses or whatever, and all of a sudden they go, "Saturday Night Live's coming on," and everyone would gather around the TV.
I like that. John's like, "We're at parties at doctors' houses." Hey, wait a minute. SNL's coming on, man. That's what tell me that's not what the party was like.
So
it was more like Saturday Night Live's coming on.
So after I filmed that, the dress rehearsal, that got cut, and before the show starts, they have all the contracts out, and you have to sign your contract. And they had downgraded me to a regular extra. I said, "Wait a minute, I was an under 5." But if you're an under 5, you get into SAG. And I remember the after representative, that's a union representative, goes, "Well, I can fight for it, and if I get it, they'll never use you again." I went, "Fight for it." Mm-hmm. And they got it. I got paid as an extra, and I got into SAG like 3 days later. And
Yeah,
they
I
did
hate
use
that.
me again 10 years later, but still.
But I hate that. It's like they're gonna bully you for fucking
I
what?
know.
For a couple of dollars, they're gonna bully you. Well, no, we don't. Bullshit, man. Pay me what it pay. It's like
It's a performance. It's a performance because if anything happens to the live feed, they show the dress rehearsal.
Listen, I'm not gonna say who and what and where, but like this huge show, the same thing. A friend of mine was a reoccurring on the show, and it's a whatever. Anyway, the legendary cheap bastards in show business. Here's a reoccurring guy, and he wants a raise, and they're telling him that they're trying to scare him and saying, well, I don't know if they're going to use the character as much. And you're talking about like pennies. It was a hit show. They're talking about pennies, and they're threatening, trying to scare you so that you will sit. Meanwhile, the stars of the shows are making $zillion.
Well, they're not gonna chisel money from the stars, so that's how they do it. They
yeah, but they don't have to chisel them. They got enough money for everybody.
They have budgets they have to answer for, I guess.
I don't know, but I know that they're cheap bastards sometimes.
Speaking of cheap no. What's your story, John?
Mine is kind of a double story, so you can show that clip and we can go.
John.
Okay.
And the big fight is coming up. Ali and Frazier, Muhammad Ali. I call him Muhammad Ali because that's what he wants. Oh yeah, he's a big dude and he hits hard, I'll call him what he wants. But it's good that he's being allowed to work again. As you know, he couldn't work for 3 years. Of course, he had a strange job beating people up. But that was his right. He could have that job. Government wanted him to change jobs. Government wanted him to kill people. He thought it over and he said, no, that's where I draw the line. I'll beat him up, but I don't want to kill him. And the government told him, well, if you won't kill him, we won't let you beat him up. And it was all because he didn't want to go to Vietnam, and now we're getting out of Vietnam through Laos and Cambodia. That's got to be the long way. We got to go through China and Russia to get out that way. What are we going to tell them? We'll only be here a short time. We're just looking for a trail.
Fucking love George Carlin.
The problem is our age, everyone will know what the hell he was talking about. Your kids won't fucking understand going out through Laos and whatever.
Yeah, he's talking about the Ukraine, so it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is a twofold story, actually. So I was working at Caroline's on 8th Avenue, name drop. And in those days, they only had like major headliners work there. And I only got the job because I was at a cocktail party with Paul Provenza in the Hamptons. And I met Caroline, and it turns out we graduated the same year and knew some people. And 2 weeks later, I was headlining, like between like the headline. What the hell is that? But they had
an idea, and every time I have an idea, it makes that noise. I don't know.
So anyway, I went to work there, and when I walked out on stage, Don King was in the front row. So I called Don King up on stage, and I said, "So Don, I think everyone in the room wants to know the answer to this. Does the word hairbrush mean anything to you?"
Oh man!
And it kills. It absolutely kills. And he grabs the microphone and he goes, "I'm putting my hand above this man's head right now. He is turning gold before your eyes. I did it for Michael Jackson. I did it." And he goes to this whole big rap, and I grab the mic back and I go, "Thank you, P.T. Barnum." What is it?
I just had.
It's my alert on my phone. I'm sorry, it came off mute.
His blood sugar just dropped 50 points.
So anyway, the show was over. Don King came up to me and said, "I'd like to invite you to my fight in Atlanta." So I said, "Okay." So Neil Hirsch goes, "We'll take my private jet and we'll go." Nice. So I go to the fight, and I show up, and Neil in those days was drinking a little bit, and we get out of the limo, and Don King puts his arm around me in a headlock and around Neil, and we walk into a press conference, and they're taking pictures. He's going, "The magic's in the air because the magic man came to town. And my friend Neil," and Neil's going, "I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody." So we went to the fight, and I never sat ringside for a fight before. And I used to like boxing. But
love boxing.
When you sit ringside, it is a different thing.
Yeah,
I
well, you
mean,
could smell it and feel
you
the
can smell it,
the
and
liquids when somebody gets hit.
when they get hit,
Liquids.
you can feel it. You can
Yeah.
feel it. Like they're getting hit. These are heavyweights. They're hitting each other near and oh,
It's a moist sport.
So after it was over, I got invited to the after party, and I was at the after party, and this beautiful black woman came up to me. I mean, she was just stunning. And I looked at her and I think to myself, I know her. Is she a model? Is she an actress? And she said, somebody tells me you're a magician. And I said, yeah, I am. And she goes, oh, listen, my dad would like to show you a magic trick. And I go, what? And I'm thinking, okay, sure. So I go with her and I go around the bend, and her dad was Muhammad Ali.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
And it was the craziest thing in the world. And he was still, he was pretty affected by that, but not totally. And he took a little handkerchief out of his pocket. But he talked like Muhammad Ali, taking the handkerchief, I'm putting it in my hand. Put it in my hand just like this. That's
Come on, he hit, and then he hit
gone, But it was really exciting,
I thought you were going to say he made your teeth disappear.
Here's the question: who did Ali fight that night at the fight? Who did he fight?
It wasn't that. It wasn't a fight like that. He was just at the fight afterwards.
Oh, okay.
But but it was really exciting. And then the other part of the story was I was working at the Eddie Murphy Comedy Room. You guys know the story. And after the show was over, it was the worst gig in the world because there's all these life-size cutouts of Eddie all over the casino. Come to my club. And then you go to your club, and then they go, now your headliner, John Ferrantino. The people are like, Eddie's not going to be here.
Yeah, where's Eddie? Fuck John Ferrantino. I want Eddie.
Yeah, so it was terrible. So I did the show. There was about 30 people in the audience. It was a Friday night.
Those were the ones that were too drunk to leave when they found out it wasn't Eddie.
Right. And I'm in the corner. There's no dressing room. And I'm putting away my stuff. And it's like packing my carpet bag. And it's like that comic who goes, it's like a bad Tom Waits song. And a sad old magician's packing his bag. So I'm packing up my bag. And I just don't want to be bothered because I'm pissed. And a guy comes up behind me and goes, so, do you do this full time? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, people tell me
I'm not servicing your mother.
And he goes, people tell me I'm really funny at the water cooler. Maybe I'd like to give this a shot. And I'm like, oh, God.
Is Herschel Walker?
And he says, do you have an agent? Do you have a manager? And I'm like, yes, I got both of those things. How do you go about getting a manager? Like, if I wanted to start in this, how would I? And this went on literally for 8 minutes.
No.
And finally I turned around to say, hey, listen, man, I'm really busy. I got to finish this. And it was George Carlin. And he goes, I so had you, man. I so had you. And of course he knew every lame question to ask.
And you're about to turn around and tell this guy to go
fuck
himself.
I was going to say, it was George Carlin.
I would have fallen to my knees.
And he goes like this. He says, listen, man, get rid of your stuff and come over and let's have a beer at the bar. So I went over and I sat at the bar. I sat at the bar with him for almost 3 hours.
Oh my God!
And people go, what was that like? I go, it was like hanging out with Yoda.
Yeah.
And a couple of things he said to me that were amazing was I said to him, and this is 20 years ago, and I said to him, how many HBO specials have you had? And he said, I've had 12. This was like 20 years ago. And he goes, and I've never repeated a joke. And I go, oh, my God, that's amazing. He goes, no, it's not amazing. He goes, there's 52 weeks in a year. There's 50 minutes in a special. And if you can't write a minute of comedy a week, how do you really call yourself a comedian?
Wow, it's very true.
Because none of us
I said, because I'll write 3 minutes and take the next year and a half off.
That's exactly what you do. I'll write 10 minutes worth of comedy and then take fucking 10 years and,
And George Carlin's been dead for 14 years and he still has a new special coming out.
Yeah, right. He still writes more than I do.
And and it was really amazing. And then he said to me, and it was really embarrassing that he was at this show with he goes, I only caught half of your show. And I'm thinking, thank God. He goes, but I'm coming back tomorrow. He goes, I think you're really funny, which to me was the greatest compliment of all times. And so the next night he comes back and there's 12 people in the audience. And Jim Balatzos goes, no comps on Saturday night. And I go, it's George Carlin. He goes, oh, yeah, George Carlin's coming to see you.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, he is. So Carlin shows up and he goes, hey, Johnny, you know, he sits down and Palazzo's look like the look he just had. So I was really embarrassed. Like, I got to go on in front of like George Carlin in front of 12 people.
Yeah, but
and then all of a sudden it dawned on me that if anybody knows what it's like, he's not watching those people.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what's funny. And then he says to me with that George Carlin voice, he goes, I remember, John, and I worked this place 2 weeks, 2 45-minute shows a night. And he goes 14 shows, 1 hour shows. And not at one point did anybody come into the club. And the club owner made me go on and do 2 shows a night.
Wow.
And I go, why? And he goes, I guess he figured if someone stopped in, they wanted to think it was happening.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, I was just going to say the truth is that for a comic, there's nothing harder than the smaller the audience, the harder, but it makes you work. It really builds your act because you work so hard that when you get a real audience, it's so easy.
Hey, I walked off stage and he said, hey, man, now you got to come to see my show. He goes, you really made me laugh. It was really funny. Yeah. And
you're very lucky.
And he goes, and if you ever, you know, and then he goes, hey, I'm driving back to New York tomorrow night. He goes, if you want, why don't you just jump in the car and take a ride with me, you know? And I had to work Sunday night and I was almost tempted.
You didn't go? I fucking hate
I
you.
was
I
was almost tempted to drive in and then take the bus back and do the show. And
you should have just drove with Carlin. What are you going to lose? $5?
It gets better. It gets better. So he said to me, listen, man, he goes, if we're ever working anywhere together and you want to come see me, whatever, just, you know, drop me a line. He goes, I'm sure we'll work together in Vegas. He goes, and 2 months later, I was in Vegas and he was headlining. And I said, well, look, you know, I want to go see George Carlin. And the manager of the club goes, well, just call him. I go, I'm not calling George Carlin. And she goes, just call him. I go, I'm not calling him. She goes, you're headlining one room. He's headlining the other. That's what happens in Vegas. And I go, I'm not calling him, and I know him. And she's like, you know him and you won't call him? I go, yeah. So I go, she goes, well, then write a note and I'll give it to him. So I went to pick up Margie, who's like a huge fan, my ex-wife, huge fan of George Carlin, and got back and the light was blinking on the phone. And I go, hey, get that. It's probably the club. And I just see her face go like this. And the message was, hey, John, George Carlin here. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I'd love to hang out with you before my show. Yeah, definitely come. You know, this is my phone. Just give me a buzz. Let me know.
Amazing.
And we got to hang out with him before the show again. And it was very cool.
Carlin said probably the most profound thing to me that anyone has ever said. He said, dude, cover your fucking mouth when you cough.
And with that, gentlemen,
is that a true story?
I believe it is.
Is that a true story? That can't be true.
He was a germaphobe, so yeah, it's very possible.
He always walked around in Vegas carrying a little chihuahua.
No, I was never lucky enough to actually meet George. I met Pryor a couple times, but I never met George. I would have loved to have met George Carlin.
It was just so, you know, I guess because for me, and I know we're getting ready to end here. Yeah. I guess for me, I don't know if I would have ever become a comedian or whatever. I used to, with my friend who's not a comedian, we would stand on the corner and we would do the 7 words you can't say. And we did the Bill Cosby albums and, you know, Why Is There Air? And
for us, it was the Richard Pryor. We would do the Richard Pryor bits. Lenny Bruce. Oh, that's.
And Freddie Prinze. I used to listen to Freddie Prinze's album. It was great.
You know, I don't think I've ever heard Freddie Prinze.
Why is there? No,
I don't know. Do you know that I didn't know? And do you know that it was only until like 2 years ago I ever listened to any Lenny Bruce stuff?
I mean, the guy was, you talk about, well, like I said, being a legend, being ahead of his time. I mean, he opened the doors for modern day comedy. Many people they know a little bit because of maybe the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but I mean, I've been a Lenny Bruce fan since I was a kid. I mean, the groundbreaking stuff that he did. And it was a shame towards the end when he got busted for so many things and he was a drug addict, and his last couple of years when basically him on stage recounting what happened in court or whatever. But if you go back to his genius stuff, you know.
Well, did you see that George Carlin special on Netflix, the 2-part series?
Yeah, it's great.
But you see that when they said that, which was really disturbing to me, that they were saying that he was the hottest thing during the 70s. And then during the 80s, he kind of dropped out of fame.
Which is
he
bull.
but he was doing all that word comedy, like, why is it a hysterectomy? It should be a erectomy.
Yeah.
And then they said that, believe it or not, not Tommy Chong, Cheech Marin, in an interview said, thank God the 80s are over. We can get rid of platform shoes, George Carlin, and disco balls.
Yeah.
And he was so offended that he just took 2 years off and just wrote and came back with the attitude, I'm going to be the best stand-up there ever was.
That's the Rocky attitude that you need to be successful. You got to have that Rocky Balboa, like fucking, you know what I mean? It's not how many times you can hit, how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
All right, guys, we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
Don't ever talk to me like that, Craig. No.
I'm just glad I got a word in edgewise, Mike.
Yeah.
All right.
Craig, John, when did Craig get here?
Oh, Jesus.
All right, everybody. So listen, we got a great shows coming up for you. So make sure you watch us on Roku. You can actually see us
How
on
long
the
we have
TV.
next week?
Who do we have next week?
Carrot Top.
We have Carrot Top.
And we got Adam Ferrara coming up, and we got some amazing guests coming. I mean, people you want to tune in. You got to go. You know what Roku is?
How much you give
not
me
a
if I
Japanese fish dish.
How much
Roku.
you give me if I ask him if the word hairbrush means anything to him?
Oh my God!
Ask me sometime. I got a cute Don King story too.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, listen, guys. I hope you had as fun because we certainly did. And you can watch us on the Roku on the Strong Island Entertainment app. You should put that on. It's really easy to do. I was actually able to do it. Or you can get to, or you can watch us on www.strongisland.com, which is on the screen, or on our own website, which is www.thebBBradio.com. That's over Mike's shoulder. And we're on YouTube, and I think we're still on Spotify, right?
No, just YouTube, and we're conquering the world slowly.
We are the world.
We were on Spotify for a while.
We are
right?
the children.
We were.
Hey, make me big for a minute. I want to do something for the ratings.
Okay, and then we're gonna say
nipples. Okay, that's just for the ratings.
That won't do much for the ratings because we couldn't see your nipples.
You got to rise out of me. Thank you. I'm here all week.
Eastside Comedy Club.
There you go.
All right, guys. See you next
week.
week,
Jim.
Carrot
All right.
Top.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.